Hello, Peaceful Profits Nation. Jessica here with an exciting client spotlight episode for you today. Today, we are talking to our client, Brandon Doman. Brandon helps corporate employees build the skills to land senior leadership positions, earn more while working less, and become a well-trusted leader in their company through the dynamic corporate leader method. Over the last 5 years, Brandon has helped hundreds of corporate employees secure high-paying leadership positions and salary bumps at prestigious companies like Google, Facebook, Wolfram, State Farm, Tesla, Uber, Bank of America, and many others. In his book, The Dynamic Corporate Leader Method, Brandon shares the simple method that he used to get where he wanted in his own career after struggling for 12 years. Welcome, Brandon.
Thank you. It's good, fun to be here.
Yeah, we are glad that you are here, and it's been fun coaching you over the last year or so that you've been in the program as well. So I'm excited to do this.
Fun and I'm sure frustrating at the same time.
No, not at all.
Default aggressive, I think, is my mode. So
no, it's been really fun seeing the progress that you have made since you've joined the program, and so I'm happy to talk through some of those wins that you've had. So, to start out, can you tell me about your greatest recent business win?
I think the biggest one, I think that was new and coming before I joined Peaceful Profits, I had a few people join my high ticket one-on-one coaching program. But the struggle there was spending a lot of time making social posts, going out and finding people and really doing a lot of interaction. And the biggest piece I had that was the most exciting for me recently was having someone jump on a call with me to talk about coaching who had already found success in my book. And so I've had people reach out and say, hey, thanks for writing this. This was good. But this was the first time that the transition took place of saying, I found success. I trust you now. I want to do more. I want more coaching because I know I can do more. I'm just not certain how to get there myself. And so that piece was exciting to have someone come across my book, read it, do something, find success in it, and then want to connect and do more. And through that one-on-one coaching, just within the first, I think, 3 weeks, they went from 65, 70 hours a week down to 40. And then actually were able to start seeing some impact across their team.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, I mean, you've already talked about it, but like, how is this impacting your clients' lives as well? I mean, being able to work with you, getting more clients. I'd love to hear more about how you're helping your clients and what's happening in their lives. From the work that you're doing.
That's the most fun part, because when I originally wrote the book and started this process, it was to help me of 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I remember being very frustrated in what I was trying to do in my career, never getting that next promotion, or always comparing myself to others in the companies I was at. Why is this person making more money than me? Why do they have a better title? I'm equally as smart. And so there was a lot of frustration that I had, that I knew or believed a lot of other people were also going through. Mm-hmm. And so in doing that, it's given me opportunity to, one, ease those frustrations, but also to help people get their lives back, but also get a salary that allows them to do more within their life, do more for their family, do more for their community, whatever. I've seen people get anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 salary bumps in just a few short months. And that's something that makes significant impact in someone's lives. Mm-hmm. Or taking that 65, 70 hour a week, dropping it down to 30 to 40 hours a week, sometimes even 20, and being able to do hobbies or spend time with their family and stuff like that. Like those are the transformations that get me excited to continue mm-hmm. to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love seeing those kinds of transformations, and we love Peaceful Profits being able to see our clients getting those kinds of transformations for their clients as well. It's like the butterfly effect, right? Like, us being able to help you is you being able to help so many other people and improve all of their lives as well. So yeah, that's amazing. So, as far as the book, you came in, well, you read Mike's One Book Millions Method book. You kind of wrote your book based on that, right? And then you came into the Peaceful Profits program with your book mostly already written. And I believe you already were even having some sales, and you had some sales of your of your high ticket one-on-one coaching program as well before you joined Peaceful Profits. What can you tell me kind of like what it was like before, like as far as your sales of your book and also your program before you joined Peaceful Profits?
The sales of the book that I had prior were a lot of just people that had seen me post on LinkedIn and had been connected to me for some time, people I had worked with, friends that I had, and I sold, I think 50 or 60 copies up to that point. Once I joined Peaceful Profits and really started to better understand what the funnel should look like, components of copywriting that I have always kind of sucked at in a sense or been frustrated with, in being able to see those things and then go from that 50, 60 copies to, I think I'm up over 600 copies of the book being sold now. And that's just within a few short months. I think currently, I think yesterday it was 8 or 9 copies sold with very little ad spend. And so the nice part about that is, and I think that's what connects to the program name, is that the work that I am doing now is a lot of work over the course of like a day to do a couple pieces of work, but then I get to let the ads run and do its job versus saying, hey, I got to go do this update, I got to go connect with people, I got to do all of these other things. And so with that, then the whole funnel now operates in a way that it gets people in on the front end, which gives them the book and other order bumps and upsells and stuff, which I was missing well before. So running ads to only a book when the book wasn't going to pay for itself. Right. And so having added those things in and now seeing the funnel run at a close to 1 ROAS over the last few weeks, it's been nice to have that because I'm not stressed about having to put money into my business. I'm not stressed about having to do all these postings and stuff online. People are finding the book and the funnel is doing its job to do more sales calls every day.
Right. Right. So before you came into the program and before you got your full funnel up and running and everything, you were mostly just posting on LinkedIn and people were finding you that way. So mostly or just organically, but much more like you had to go out and reach out to people. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
like
then
I was making videos 2 or 3 times a week in post, and just making one video that was 3 minutes took well over 35, 45, 50 minutes sometimes just to put it together, to edit it, to get the subtitles and everything. It was a lot of effort every single day to see very little return. Right. Now there's, I would say, little effort. Like obviously a lot went into building what I have, but the day-to-day effort is much minor in comparison to the returns I'm seeing now.
Yeah. Yeah. So what kind of impacts is that having on your business?
It for me, a lot of it has been mental stability, like much less stress of saying, am I going to have to keep putting money into something and not seeing a return? Now I'm putting money into something and getting most of that money back. Once you account for people who invest in one-on-one coaching, I have returned all of the money plus some that I have put into the business. So it's not where I want it to be yet, but the signs of progression are there. And so the numbers are starting to add to themselves. And I know at some point it's going to be to that $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 a month business. It's just, I know that it takes time to get to that. I've built a bunch of software products and digital products in my life that I know it takes some time to scale. It's not an overnight success, but it's the little things that you do up to that point that build those large businesses that scale.
Yeah. Just for some time frame reference points and things, like when was your funnel actually up and running? How long has it been since it's been like up and running? You've actually been running ads and doing the whole front end funnel, selling your book with order bumps and everything, as opposed to like what you were doing before of LinkedIn, posting and things.
It's a good question. So I think of March of this year.
Okay.
And so then around July, I started working one-on-one with the Peaceful Profits team, and they kind of took over all the ads and copywriting and rebuilt my pages and stuff like that. And the returns I was seeing prior to that were decent on the front end, but I was getting no back end sales. And so that's where I was getting no people to invest in that higher level coaching program. So there was just that nuance of copywriting that the team injected into my funnel to get more people to purchase the front end book. But then the copywriting that went into people who had bought the book and the email follow-ups and stuff that started hitting
Mhm.
them. And now we're doing some retargeting ads across some
Mm.
stuff as well. And so we're seeing people get those reminders and starting to come back to and say, oh, I did this thing with the book 3 months ago, or I did the thing with the book last week. It worked.
Mm.
They trust me. Now they want to have a coaching call. And now they're then interested in saying, yeah, I trust this person. And the calls are, after having put out the book, the calls for people to join one-on-one coaching are much cleaner
Mm.
and much more succinct because they already trust me, and it's more about me understanding to make sure that they're the right fit for me to work with.
Right, right, right. So it's less of a, you're not having to sell them or feel like you're really like doing that pushy salesy thing. You're just kind of transitioning them over to the next logical offer, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think one of the first ones I talked to the person for 10 minutes and they're like, and they gave me enough information that I felt that I could help them. And I said, hey, here's the program stuff. And they're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah,
And
let's do it.
it was a 20-minute call because again, they have had success within the book and had learned things from it to know what they could do, and knew that I could help them more after we talked for a little bit, and knew that it was, I know what I learned enough from the book, but I'm just not quite sure how to do it myself.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, yeah. Yes. So that is all amazing. What challenges have you faced as you have been going through this whole process of writing your book, building your funnel, selling your high ticket offer, all through the process? I know that there have been challenges along the way, but what are some challenges that you think you have faced, and also then how have you feel like you've been able to overcome those along the way?
I think there's a couple of them. One we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago. Less
Mm-hmm.
is more, and
Mm-hmm.
that is one thing that is funny because I put it in my book where I tell people, hey, if you're working across 10 projects at work, you're not doing yourself a service. You're doing yourself a disservice. And that is something I was looking at, things within my funnel that were too small, that didn't need to be worried about, and things along those lines, versus focusing on what the bigger picture was of running the business.
Mm-hmm.
And so those have been things just because it sometimes it's easier to tackle and easier to see the smaller stuff than to see the, I don't know what the phrase is, kind of the light at the end of the tunnel and stuff. And so having worked with you and having conversations with other people on the team, that has helped tremendously, of me being able to say, hey, focus your time here. This is a waste of time. That has been a help. The other piece for me, copywriting has always been a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
When I get in front of people and I have conversations, whether it's sales or giving a speech or whatever, I'm really good at least I believe I'm good at reading people and understanding how to shift the things I'm talking about to keep them engaged or connect with them emotionally. But when it comes to writing, it's very direct for me. Like I can't write with emotion very well, but I can speak with it and have conversations with people. And
Mm-hmm.
so that, uh, having come from an engineering background, like if I write, it's like very technical, like do this, do this, do this. And that's just not a great way to go through and do a sales page or email copy or whatever.
Right, right, right. So you've gotten help from the Peaceful Profits team for that
Yeah.
piece specifically, is mostly how you've been able to overcome those challenges. Yeah. Can you talk about, I don't know if you ever read the book. I think you did. Who Not How. I think we've talked about that before, right?
Yes.
How, maybe you could just talk about that a little bit, and the mindset that goes into asking the question of, who can help me with this versus how can I get this done myself? Because I think
That
that's a big mindset shift.
honestly the main driver that got me to join the first program. So after I bought the book, I don't know if, after I bought Mike's book, I don't know where I came across the Who Not How. I don't know if it was an email that the team sent out or if I came across it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember reading it on a long drive I had going to work a couple of states away. And I polished off the book on that drive, and I scheduled a call with the team because it's like, I'm not going to get to where I want to be by myself because there's entirely too many things for me to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And that book was it was a great driver for me to understand that it's going to take me much longer to learn these things. And couple that with information I had learned in other books where talking about leaning into your strengths and not trying to build your weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And by building your weaknesses, it takes you much longer to create another strength versus if you make your strength much more, you're going to have much more return on whatever investment it is that you're leaning into. My strength is coaching people and helping them navigate the corporate world. And from that, then now I don't have to worry as much about getting the ads up and running, making sure that the copy is there. I have a team that can do the stuff that I'm not great at, and it keeps me moving forward versus trying to figure out what I need to do to try and scale the business.
Yeah. Yeah. You being able to focus on the things that you're really good at and letting other people do things that they're really good at, which I know we talked about recently as well. Just, yeah, getting out of the way of yourself. And I know that that's such a big part. I mean, I think it's in one of the foundational welcome videos that are in the Peaceful Profits program. It's as well of just, getting out of your own way as well. It's just a big piece of the whole program.
And it's tough early on because you want to do things yourself.
Yeah. Right.
Because I'm like, oh, I can save a little bit of money doing this myself, or I can save a little bit of money. But the loss on potential return on your time is very significant, or can be very significant. And so that's one thing that I've tried to make sure is I focus where I can bring value and bring other people into where they can create much more value than what I would be able to do in those areas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So have you seen changes with your clients as well since you've started having those kinds of mindset shifts in yourself? Like, what kinds of things have you been able to help clients do more effectively, or help your clients more effectively do since implementing these kinds of changes into your business?
I can spend more time answering their questions and
Mm-hmm.
supporting them. And I think, as we mentioned earlier, it's funny that I teach in my course not to do too much, and that I go ahead and do the same thing. And so it's sometimes hard to see that within yourself. And so, one, there's been learnings within, and so that kind of who, not how, is something that I've shared with people when I talk to them within the course. Because if they are saying, hey, well, I need to develop a new PowerPoint template or something along those lines, like, you could waste an entire day doing that when there's probably someone in your company that does that for a full-time job. Go make friends, have them do that type of work for you, or help you do that type of work. And so what I've really been able to do is give more focus to them and really help them succeed by adding in the ability to email me, and versus saying, hey, I have to wait for every coaching call. And so I've been able to add more stuff to my program because I have more time to be available.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's amazing. And serve your clients better because you're also letting other people do the parts of your business that aren't the most critical things for you to be focusing on or working on. So yeah, that's amazing.
And so rather than waiting 2 days to get to an email response, I can do it within a couple of hours because I'm not stacking it at the bottom of my list.
Right. Right. You're focusing on your clients and helping them and getting them in the best success so that you can make sure that you're actually delivering on the things that need to be happening with your clients. Wonderful. So can you tell our audience what is your number one piece of advice that you would like to share with others who are working through this process of, thinking about maybe writing their book, or they're creating their funnel, trying to transition clients from their book to purchasing a higher ticket offer? Any number one piece of advice that you would like to share?
I think the big thing is, like, if you're a part of the program, follow the program. And it's built based on learnings that people have had in doing this in the past. So don't go out and try and reinvent the wheel on what you're doing. And that's something that I see as a big mistake a lot. And even in product management, where someone has this new technology that they think is going to solve some problem, but in reality, people just don't need that technology to solve that problem. And so focus on what people have proven that can work, and then follow the data. Don't stop following the data and testing and iterating on stuff. If you see something that's not working and the data says it's not working, stop doing that thing. And that, I think, is something that a lot of people struggle with, because they feel that, hey, this idea I have is the best idea in the world, but no one's buying it. Well, no one's buying it because no one needs it, and or your idea is not that good. So if you track the data and look at what you're doing every day, then you can build on top of yourself as you learn new things.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you put up a landing page and you think it's the best copy you've ever written and it's not selling any stuff, then it's not the best copy for your audience. See
Right.
the data, make that iteration, and keep moving forward. But making sure that you're doing it to where you can figure out what is causing the noise within the data. So don't change 10 things in a week, change one thing in a week, and listen to the data to say, okay, now we've changed this piece, let's move on and change the next. And so that I think is the struggle, is people will go through and say, hey, this thing is not working, and I know I've done this myself. I'm going to pivot and try to do something completely different because someone else has a different point of view, but you haven't taken the time to let the data speak for itself so you can know what's happening.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Data oriented decisions are definitely a big part of what we teach in Peaceful Profits, which is why there's like so many spreadsheets and tracking sheets and, making sure that you're actually looking at the real live data of like what's really happening in your business. Right. Which I know that you are a fan of those kinds of sheets as well, and use them religiously or pretty religiously, I think.
Yeah. I took the one that they had, and I didn't like the way that there was divs, like if the data wasn't there, and then Excel throws an error. So I went through and put like error checking in there for all the stuff. So I have spent a lot of time within that spreadsheet, and I look at it every single day.
Yeah. That's incredible. Well, amazing. Thank you so much. It's wonderful advice. And I think all of the advice that you've given throughout this interview has been amazing. So thank you so much. So to wrap up this episode, can you tell our listeners how to find out more about you? Tell us about your book a little bit, and how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, I think the best way to get a hold is LinkedIn. Since I serve the corporate world, that's where I exist. I do have Instagram and Facebook pages, but I think LinkedIn is the best. You can search my name on there. It'll come up under Dynamic Corporate Leader as well. The book can be found at book.dclmethod.co, which is just short for Dynamic Corporate Leader Method, because typing all of that out is not easy. So I went and bought a much shorter domain to help myself out. Typing that in every single day. So that's a good place to find the book, and that's got all the information and other pieces of my program in there.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much. And we will talk again soon. Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks. Appreciate it.